So far, we've only talked about quadratic equations being in this form, where we have our a, our h, and our k value. This is called vertex form because it clearly tells us our vertex, our h, and our k, and we just saw that in our previous videos. But there's another way of expressing quadratic equations, and that's called standard form, where we have y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And in this video, we're going to talk about how do I convert from this form to this form, and we're going to do that just by taking an example and describing the process as we go. So let's take a look at our example. Let's take a look at y equals 2x minus 1 squared plus 3. How do I turn this into standard form? What I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to expand what I have written here and then collect my like terms. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Y equals 2, and we're going to rewrite this. Instead of writing this as a squared, I'm going to write this as x minus 1 times x minus 1 plus 3. And this process of multiplying things out and finding what they equal is called expanding. So let's take a look. Y equals, the 2 is still hanging out here, but now I need to multiply these brackets together. Now you may have done something like this before. There's a process we use that's called FOIL. FOIL is just a way of helping us remember that we are expanding. So let's see, how do I multiply two brackets together when they both have multiple terms inside? I start by multiplying the first terms together, so the first term in each bracket. So I do x times x, which gives us x squared. I do the outside term, so I multiply x times negative 1, which is negative x. I multiply the inside term, so the inner term, negative 1 times x is negative x, and then I multiply the last terms, negative 1 times negative 1, which gives me positive 1. So FOIL is how we remember what we're doing, but this process is called expanding. And our plus 3. All right, let's tidy this up a little bit more. Y equals 2. Let's collect our like terms. I have x squared. Are there any more x squareds? Nope. I have minus x. Do I have any more x's? Yes, I have another minus x. So minus negative x minus x is minus 2x. And plus 1, are there any more just numbers? No. All right, next, we're going to need to take this 2 and multiply it by everything in the brackets. This is called distributing. It's called the distributive property. And so we can imagine the brackets are a house, and there's a party going on inside, and x squared is there, and negative 2x is there, and plus 1 is there. And their friend 2 comes to the door and needs to say hello to everyone. So let's distribute 2 through everyone. Let's have 2 come into the house and say hello to everyone. So 2, and let's just label this. This is still expanding, but what we're doing here is using something called the distributive property. Or you can just think about it as somebody comes to the house and says hello. So 2 says hello to x squared, so we multiply and we get 2x squared. And 2 says hello to negative 2x, and we get negative 4x. And 2 says hello to positive 1, so we get positive 2. And then plus 3 is still hanging on there as well. And now we're going to collect our like terms. Y equals 2x squared. There's no more x squareds. Minus 4x. There's no more x's. And our constants, just our regular plain numbers, get added together. Plus 5. And there we go. This is our vertex form of this equation. This is our standard form of this equation. And I'm just going to try to summarize the steps. So how did we do this? So we started with vertex. Then we took care of our squared by expanding. So expand the term being squared. Then we just did our distributive property. And then we collected like terms. And that's how we convert from vertex form to standard form.